Passage 3. Tears.
Tears are good for our eyes. In fact, without them, our eyes would be so dry they wouldn't be able to move. Some people say tears help us in other ways too. Maybe you know someone who likes to watch sad movies in order to have a good cry. While it hasn't been proven, tears may be good not only for our eyes, but for our emotional health as well. We generally notice tears only when we cry, but we have them in our eyes all the time, and we need to. Without this liquid covering them, our eyes would be at risk of infection. We also need tears in order to see. The cornea of the eye does not have a perfectly smooth surface, and tears fill in the holes in the cornea, making it smooth so that we can see clearly. Without tears, the world would look very strange to us. These are the two basic jobs that tears do for us. They help us see the world while at the same time protecting our eyes from it. There are 3 types of tears, called basal, reflex, and emotional, or psychic tears, and these 3 types differ not only in purpose but also in composition. Basal tears are the ones that we produce all the time. On average, our eyes produce these tears at the rate of 5 to 10 ounces a day. When we blink, we spread basal tears across the surface of our eyes. If we do not blink often enough, like some people who spend long hours in front of a computer, our eyes get dry. Have you ever cut up an onion and felt tears come to your eyes? Tears of that type are called reflex tears. They're the ones that fill our eyes when a cold wind blows. These tears also protect our eyes, washing away dust and other materials that get into them. Emotional or psychic tears flow when we feel certain emotions. When we cry tears of sadness, disappointment, or happiness, we are crying emotional tears. Emotional tears are the tears we think of most when we use the word cry. Tom Lutz, the author of Crying, The Natural and Cultural History of Tears, writes, "Throughout history and in every culture, everyone, everywhere cries at some time. Even men and women who say they never cry can usually remember crying as children. Most of us probably think it's normal for men or women to cry at certain times. For example, it's no surprise when someone cries during a sad movie, and we often expect people to cry when a family member dies. At times such as these, we may even tell them, 'Go ahead and cry.' However, we don't always take this view of tears, and sometimes adults who cry, or even children who do, lose the respect of others. What would you think, for example, of an adult who cried over losing a card game? Most people are aware of the social rules about when, where, and why it is and isn't acceptable to cry. These rules generally differ for children and adults, and often for men and women. They depend on things such as family, culture, and religion, and they change over time. Some people think it's not just acceptable to cry, but actually healthy to let the tears flow. Over 2,500 years ago, doctors in Greece thought that tears came from the brain and that everyone needed to let them out. Today, many people still believe in getting tears out. They say that through crying, we get rid of emotions we have stored up, which is good for our mental health. Some people report that they feel better after crying. This could be because of the chemicals in emotional tears, one of which is a type of endorphin, a painkiller that the body produces naturally. Emotional tears increase the amount of endorphin that gets to the brain because tears flow from the eye into the nose and pass to the brain that way. This painkiller may make a person less aware of sad or angry feelings, and that could explain why someone feels better after a good cry.